back down, guys. We got a bunch of stuff we're going to talk about here today, and we're going to start off with this. You know, if you get into a conversation with most TV fans and you bring up the topic of, like, say, 10 best sitcoms of the last 20 years or so, you're going to be hard-pressed to find many of them that don't somewhere on the list put Scrubs. Scrubs was wonderful. It was just a fantastic show. Love the characters. It reminded me of a poorer man's version of Shrinking. Not quite as good as Shrinking, but I mean, it kind of had that. You just loved the characters. You found yourself endeared to them. They were great. Now, you guys know in recent years, there have been some talks about maybe a Scrubs revival. The big holding point to it, though, has been they haven't been able to get star of the series, Zach Braff, to sign on. And without Zach Braff, there's no series. Well, apparently that hurdle has been cleared, as according to Deadline, JD Scrubs in. Zach Braff set to return for the ABC reboot. By the way, it is not a reboot, it is a revival. They are two different things. Some people use them interchangeably.
Right.
But Deadline writes the following. Finally, more good news for Scrubs fans. 5.5 months after the reboot of the beloved medical comedy secured series creator Bill Lawrence, the project has locked in star Zach Braff. Sources tell Deadline. He will reprise his role as John J.D. Dorian in the Scrubs follow-up, which is in development at ABC from 20th Century. Reps for the network and studio declined to comment. The deal with Braff comes after months of touch-and-go negotiations that hit major hurdles over both money and Braff's request for the series to film in Los Angeles, not Vancouver, because that's where they're planning on shooting. It is in Vancouver. As originally planned, sources said. The impasse was so serious, there was a chance for the entire project to be scrubbed. Get it? Until the two sides recently came to an agreement because Scrubs is still in development. No filming location has been announced. So it sounds like maybe they are still going to shoot in Vancouver, but they might have compensated for that with a little bit of money or a little bit more money and say, look, we got to shoot in Vancouver. That's just where we got to do it. But I mean, who knows? Now, listen, I am a big fan of Zach Braff. I've always liked him. As a matter of fact, actually bring this up.
Florence Pugh's ex.
Florence Pugh's ex. That's right. That's me and Zach hanging out. I got a chance to hang out with him for one day when we were at the Toronto International Film Festival. He was there promoting something else, and he got a little drunk. I mean, I bring that picture up again. I'll tell you, Zach was a little bit drunk. But he's one of those guys, when he was a little bit drunk, he was really freaking funny. Like, not he fell over funny,
right.
like legitimately really funny. Like, he was just talking and he was absolutely hilarious, very kind, very nice. And I've been a big fan of him ever since. And of course, then he dated Florence Pugh for a while. That made me an admirer all at the same time. Not just a fan, but an admirer. Look, obviously this is huge because you can't do Scrubs without the lead guy. You can't do it. I remember they tried to keep Scrubs going. Remember they canceled Scrubs?
Yeah.
And it was done. And then they picked it up for another season on another network.
It was awful.
Only they couldn't get Zach Braff back. And that was terrible.
Yeah, it was terrible.
It was like, it wasn't funny. It wasn't anything. Anyway, they need him back. This is good for them. And you know what? I will be tuning in to watch this. Rob, big deal that they were able to get Zach Braff back?
Yeah, I mean, he's the show. And I think that, like you say, it's a revival, not a reboot. A reboot is like a reconceptualization of something,
right.
Whereas like Galactica is a reboot. But this, what's great about these kinds of shows is these characters, you can take into account the real time that's passed since you last saw them. And that immediately gives you their 10 years. It's 10 years later, however long it is, and you can use that as story fodder, which I think is good, and sometimes, like, I was surprised the Frasier not reboot, but revival. A Night Court ended, Frasier ended, but those revivals lasted 3 years each, I think.
The Night Court one was terrible.
It wasn't good.
I wanted to like it so bad because I loved the original Night Court.
I know.
It was really
sometimes
bad.
It works, sometimes it doesn't. I can't believe the Sex and the City and Just Like That revival is...
It's still going.
The first season, that was one of the worst things I've ever seen. And
I didn't bother watching.
And I loved Sex and the City. I loved Sex and the City. And that was... I couldn't believe what I was watching. But it's still going. And look, I'm happy people are working. And Scrubs, comfort food for people. That show could run another 10 years. So look, and if they actually do, good for him for sticking up and trying to get production brought back to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I just don't think.
Now, was it sticking up for Los Angeles or him just not wanting to travel?
Well, that could, I mean, that could be. It could be. I mean, Vancouver isn't, I mean, I guess you're going to live in the Sutton place or get an Airbnb or something, but it's, I can understand like being away from home.
Yeah.
You know, as you get older, being on the road, it's not your house.
Yeah.
And when I was doing DVDs.
For months at a time.
Yeah. When I was doing DVD special features or going to Bulgaria to make a horror movie, you're never home where you're staying. You know, you don't, there's a level of comfort that just doesn't exist. So I can understand that. But, you know, they'll probably pay him a lot of money.
They're probably going to pay him a lot of money. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's episode, BetterHelp. You know what? I think we've come a long way in how we talk about mental health. I mean, that great show Shrinking certainly helps, but it used to be something people avoided bringing up. But now, more and more, we're realizing it's just as important to take care of yourself mentally as it is taking care of yourself physically. But still, 1 in 4 Americans say that they've skipped getting any kind of help because they're afraid of getting judged, and that has got to change. This month is Mental Health Awareness Month, so let's talk about how therapy isn't just for people going through major life events. It's for learning healthy coping strategies, building boundaries, and growing into the best version of ourselves. And BetterHelp makes it easier than ever. They've been connecting people with licensed therapists for over 10 years, with a network of over 30,000 professionals across a wide range of specialties. It's completely online, so it fits into your schedule. No commuting, no waiting rooms, and if the therapist you're with isn't the right fit for you, you can switch at any time, no extra cost. We are all better with help. Visit betterhelp.com/Campea to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Campea. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Zach Braff is now locked in, and I guess that means this whole show is now going to be moving forward. They got him in. We're going to get that Scrubs revival. Did you think they could have moved forward without him? Maybe? I don't know. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.